Wake up, babe. New Blake Lively lawsuit just dropped because apparently the drama surrounding It Ends With Us just will not end. Now, Justin Baldoni has officially filed a lawsuit against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, their publicist Leslie Sloan, and Sloan's PR firm Vision PR. Justin's attorneys have filed a $400 million lawsuit in the Southern District of New York on Thursday, January 16th, on behalf of Justin Baldoni, producer Jamie Heath, publicist Jennifer Abel, and crisis publicist Melissa Nathan, claiming that Blake Lively took measures to gain control over this movie, and they're claiming that so many of the things that she accused Justin Baldoni of are just totally fake. This complaint is 179 pages long, okay? Justin is suing on claims of civil extortion, defamation, false light invasion of privacy, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, intentional interference with contractual relations, intentional interference with prospective economic advantage, and negligent interference with prospective economic advantage. Now, you may remember that this all started with Blake Lively following a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department. This was that 80-page document that initially went viral. Now, remember, at that time, this was not an official lawsuit. She was just filing a complaint. She did end up filing that official lawsuit later, which we'll kind of get to. But in this 80-page complaint, Blake accused Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment. She said that he was showing naked photos and videos and making jokes about her deceased father. And she painted him to be this villain and tried to flip the whole narrative. And then after that, Justin Baldoni came out with a lawsuit not against Blake, but against the New York Times. He sued them for libel and false light invasion of privacy after they released an article called "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." Then after that, Blake officially filed her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. And so now that all takes us to here. I mean, you can go back and watch all the details about that. But let's go over this recent 179-page complaint from Justin Baldoni, because there's a lot in here that we can get into. We're going to go over the highlights and some of the biggest takeaways, because it's going to get into all the ways that Blake has seemingly lied about the way that things went down with the production of It Ends With Us. She lied about her relationship with Justin Baldoni, claiming that he was some kind of predator. Here's an official statement from Justin's attorney, Brian Friedman. He says, "This lawsuit is a legal action based on an overwhelming amount of untampered evidence detailing Blake Lively and her team's duplicitous attempt to destroy Justin Baldoni, his team, and their respective companies by disseminating grossly edited, unsubstantiated, new, and doctored information to the media." So what they're doing in this 179-page complaint is that they are actually releasing all of these unedited emails, text messages, screenshots to show what really happened, and proving that Blake and her team of attorneys have actually doctored a lot of the things that we saw in that first 80-page complaint. So this is all coming less than a month after Blake Lively's complaint with the California Civil Rights Department. And that complaint accused Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment and claiming that he and his PR team smeared her name and attempted to ruin her reputation. And back to that quote from Brian Friedman, he says, "It is clear based on our own all-out willingness to provide all complete text messages, emails, video footage, and other documentary evidence that was shared between the parties in real time that this is a battle she will not win and will certainly regret. Blake Lively was either severely misled by her team or intentionally and knowingly misrepresented the truth." So let's take a look at this complaint, and we'll go over some of the highlights that I think are worth talking about. It says here that Lively could not tolerate her publicly tainted image for even a moment, and essentially says here that she needed a scapegoat. She could not accept responsibility, that everybody started disliking her very strongly after her failed press junket for It Ends With Us. And it says here that when she and Reynolds could not force Baldoni and Wayfarer to read a statement she and her reps prepared, exhorting them to take accountability in defense of Lively's actions, she lay in wait for months preparing to publicly attack Baldoni by falsely claiming that he had sexually harassed her. It also talks here about the significant public backlash that Lively faced when she had that entirely tone-deaf press tour for the film. So you probably remember that Justin, he marketed this movie as a story about DV victims, and he was very sensitive to that idea, and he said that this movie is not about me, it's about women who feel like they're stuck in this situation. I want them to know there's always hope, there's always a way out. And meanwhile, Blake Lively was going around being like, ha ha ha, my Britney Spears Versace dress.
Comes to mind isn't so much about the work that went into it, but about the why behind it. If a Lily Bloom in real life can sit in this theater and maybe make a different choice for herself than was made for her, maybe she sees herself on that screen and chooses something different for herself. That's why I made the movie.
What's your childhood dream? To wear Britney Spears Versace dress.
And then in another interview, they asked Justin Baldoni, what's the one thing you want people to take away? He's like, I want them to take away hope. And when they ask Blake, about what she thinks about the movie, she's like, oh my gosh, what's in your teeth? Oh, that's so cool. They're like gems in your teeth. She like never answered any serious question about the film. And in this lawsuit, Justin Baldoni's attorneys, they claimed that Blake fumbled this press junket so hard that she decided to make someone else the villain because she could not handle all of the negative backlash. This part is really funny to me though, because they say in this lawsuit, they prove that Blake did not even read the book It Ends With Us. The author Colleen Hoover that Blake was pretending to be BFF with, she didn't even read the damn book and she was starring in the movie. But this is a text message on September 14th, 2023 from Baldoni to Heath, Jamie Heath, the producer. So Justin said, after rereading the book, which had 150 pages to build a relationship, we have combined scenes to heighten the stakes for Ryle in pursuit of Lily, utilizing humor and his desire to sleep with her. While I understand Blake's reasons for not wanting to read the book does a very good job in getting in Lily's mind during her interactions with Ryle, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Blake did not even read the book, which is like kind of hilarious, but also makes perfect sense about why she made this movie out to be some sort of rom-com dream. Like, wear your florals, grab your friends, and go see this movie in theaters. And this is one of the most dramatic things about this complaint. Taylor Swift is thrown into the mix. Now, her name is not stated explicitly in this legal complaint, but it is so obvious that this is the mega celebrity that they're talking about here. So if you look here, they're talking about how Justin felt really pressured into complying with Blake's direction for the script. And this is a theme that we're going to see throughout the entire complaint here. But it says later, Baldoni felt obliged to text Lively to say that he had liked her pages and hadn't needed Reynolds and her mega celebrity friend to pressure him. Lively responded that the two were her dragons. She said, they, Ryan Reynolds and the mega celebrity friend, also know I'm not always good at making sure I'm seen and utilized for fear of threatening egos or fear of affecting the ease of the process. They don't give a shit about that. And because of that, everyone listens to them with immense respect and enthusiasm. So I guess I have to stop worrying about people liking me. I don't know, emoji. So the message could not have been clearer. Lawyers say that Baldoni was not just dealing with Lively, he was also facing Lively's dragons, two of the most influential and wealthy celebrities in the world who were not afraid to make things very difficult for him. Now, guys, wait until you see these text messages. I mean, the audacity, the self-confidence, nay, the self-delusion it takes for Blake Lively to compare herself to Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, calling Ryan Reynolds her husband and Taylor Swift her dragons. So Justin said, it was great working on the rooftop scene with you today. I really love what you did. This text message is very encouraging. He's very supportive of Blake's talent. He says, you really are a talent across the board. Really excited and grateful to do this together. And she said, that's appreciated, means a lot. I'm deeply inspired, blah, blah, blah. I trust that on the day you've got me, and I hope that you trust that I've got you if you want to. We're in this together. I have no motives for you except to win. And then she goes on and on and on. And she said, both Ryan and blank have established themselves as absolute titans as writers and storytellers outside of their primary gig, just singing or just acting, or blank just directing. I'm so lucky to have them as creative barometers, but also to have them as the people who prop me up and make sure I'm seen for all I can and do offer, because they know firsthand all I contribute. They also know I'm not always as good at making sure I'm seen and utilized. So that's the quote we said earlier. So she said, because of that, everyone listens to them with immense respect and enthusiasm. So I guess I have to stop worrying about people liking me. I mean, this is so obviously, this is an underhanded threat here to pressure Justin Baldoni into listening to Blake's creative direction for this film. I don't know, sounds like mean girl behavior to me, which aligns very much with Blake's past interviews that have resurfaced, showing her to be exactly that, a mean girl. And now she's throwing around her mega celebrity friend Taylor Swift to like pressure Justin Baldoni, who is not as famous, not nearly as famous. I mean, let's face it. How many of us even knew about Justin Baldoni before this movie came out? Like, he's just not as a mega of a celebrity as Reynolds, Lively, and Swift are. So what a mean girl to like throw these names at him to make him do what she wants. Another thing that came out in this lawsuit is that Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively were friends at the start of the film. Like, they were very friendly. They were very cordial. I mean, it was even more than cordial. They had a positive relationship. So you'll see here in the lawsuit that they joked around with each other. They talked about their families. They shared screenshots in this complaint to add some color to this, to really prove that Justin Baldoni is not this predatory guy who sexually harasses people on set, the way that Blake desperately wanted to paint him in that first legal complaint. They were friends. They had a very good relationship at the very beginning. In the beginning, it appeared that Baldoni and Lively would have a positive, collaborative, creative partnership. They worked closely in the early days. They traded ideas about filling key roles. Their working relationship grew close. They shared stories, pictures, commiserated over family illnesses, and exchanged jokes and memes. Baldoni offered concern and support when Lively faced family health concerns. They texted almost daily, and a friendly banter established a comfortable dynamic that under typical circumstances would have made working together easy. So they even show screenshots here, like Lively felt comfortable enough to make silly jokes. She said, "Oh, I feel the same. Such a good feeling to get work done that we're proud of. It just clicks. Da-da-da-da. Thank you for your collab. I'm really proud of what we're doing. I feel the same." He says, "I like sentimental Blake." She goes, "Never met her." He said, "I also like asshole Blake. Don't worry. Okay, good night. I've met her. So have my suppositories. Good night." So, they're making jokes here. They're cracking jokes at each other. Obviously, very friendly. And they use all of this to set up the claim that Lively started asserting control over the creative direction of this film. And then later we'll also talk about how she tried to assume control over the marketing direction of this film. So it's not like they went into this movie immediately against each other and at odds, and there was no animosity at the beginning. It was very friendly, and things took a turn and turned sour after Lively essentially became a diva. One of the ways that Blake was trying to assert a lot of control was over her wardrobe. From the start, she wanted her character to appear very sexy. She constantly was making changes and trying to make her character look a certain way, to look hot. And she was adding all of these sort of changes to her character, which is really interesting because in Blake Lively's complaint, she painted Justin Baldoni out to be this predatory guy who overly sexualized Blake. That was like part of her claim, is that he was overly sexualizing her and she didn't appreciate it. And it was very creepy when she was the one actually who was constantly trying to make her character seem more sexy. That's how she wanted to come across. And remember, the timing of this is so off because all of these things that Blake claimed that Justin Baldoni did, they came after all of these changes that Blake Lively wanted to make to her character, including wanting her to appear sexier. And of course, we got to talk about the fat shaming. That was like one of the biggest takeaways of this whole drama, is that Blake Lively claimed that Justin Baldoni fat shamed her, which is like the ultimate feminist claim. He fat shamed me. And of course, when Blake first released that complaint, all the feminists were like, yeah, he's such a misogynistic creep. How could you fat shame her? Well, here's what really happened. Justin Baldoni made every attempt to make Blake feel comfortable about her postpartum figure. He said, in exchange, he stated as her director that anything you feel insecure about, we will walk through and get creative together and make you comfortable. I just don't want you to stress about your body. It's the last thing you need. Here are the screenshots, guys, unedited screenshots. I mean, obviously they're blocking out some personal information here, but this is from, looks like February 2023. He said, I want you to know, this is a text to Blake, you will look amazing. He said, as soon as I have a rough schedule that's remotely accurate, I'll share and I'll make sure the team keeps this in mind as well. And he put the heart emoji. So he's being very generous. He's being very supportive. He keeps telling Blake that she has nothing to worry about. And the moment that she claims that Justin fat shamed her, he was just inquiring about how much she weighs because he had to pick her up for a scene and he has some back issues and he wanted to know how much he had to really prepare for that scene. That's not fat shaming, Blake Lively. And then Blake had also previously made claims that Justin would like walk into her trailer unannounced and make her feel very uncomfortable. Well, now we know all these screenshots have been shared that Blake was inviting Justin into her trailer while she was nursing or breastfeeding because she was a working mom. And she always had people in and out of her trailer that she invited. There were even text messages of her saying, hey, I'm nursing or pumping right now, whatever it was, just come on into my trailer and we can discuss. And he said, okay. And apparently, according to this lawsuit, Blake threatened to walk away from the project if she didn't get what she wanted. Okay, she even tried to get into the editing room without Justin being there so she could get final cut and control of how the film turned out. And another point that went pretty viral was the intimacy coordinator. Remember from the last lawsuit that Blake filed, she essentially claimed that there was no intimacy coordinator and it made her feel very uncomfortable. She felt like a victim. She felt slightly violated. It was like this toxic workplace that had sexual harassment going on. Well, it turns out that Blake knew that there was an intimacy coordinator. She just decided not to meet with her. Lively demanded that an intimacy coordinator be be present. In fact, that intimacy coordinator had already been engaged during the first half of the production. So Wayfarer took no issue with this request. Baldoni met with the intimacy coordinator in early April 2023. They even have an email here to prove that an intimacy coordinator was assigned to Blake. So the presence of an intimacy coordinator is not a rule, but rather a recommendation. But Justin Baldoni was eager to engage one from the start to ensure talent, himself included, and of course including Blake, would feel safe during the intimate scenes. And here are the text messages. Justin texted Blake saying, just hired intimacy coordinator. I'll set you up. And she said, I feel good. I can meet with her when we start. Thanks, though. And Justin forwarded this to the female producer. And she said, that's fine. If she doesn't want to meet now, you just have to walk her through it, whatever you and the coordinator were thinking. So another lie, another thing that Blake Lively said that has been totally proven wrong. There was definitely an intimacy coordinator from the very beginning, and she just didn't want to meet with her in the beginning for whatever reason. But now she's trying to spin this narrative that that person never existed on set. Okay, this one's kind of funny. Apparently, Blake told Justin that he should get a nose job, which is, again, hilarious for two reasons. Number one, because it's such mean girl behavior, like to say that, oh, you know, you would look so much better if you had a nose job, haha. And it's also funny because Blake got a nose job. I mean, you know, I guess she does look better now than she did before. But I mean, has Blake ever been honest about her own plastic surgery? I highly doubt it. You remember these days? I don't know if you guys ever watched any of Blake's older films, but like that was her nose in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Like she looks like a very different person. She's gotten the rhinoplasty. She's gotten some work done on her lips. Okay, probably, I don't know, maybe even a little bit of brow lift, whatever she had done. Okay, she had it done. That's fine. But the fact that she was like telling Justin to get his nose done is such mean girl behavior. And again, so not in line with the narrative that she and her attorneys were trying to spin, saying that Justin and his buddies on set were so mean and making jokes about her deceased father when she was telling the guy to get plastic surgery because he wasn't handsome enough. This is apparently something that Justin had publicly expressed insecurities about, his nose, and he discussed it on an episode of his podcast, Man Enough, exploring the topic of body dysmorphia. And Lively's comment saying that he should undergo rhinoplasty was captured on camera. So the mics were on and it was captured and they have the film of it. Baldoni, rather than write down a list of grievances against Lively, brushed it off and moved on with the scene. But now that Blake is trying to make him out to be a bad guy, he's like, actually, wait a minute, this is what you're really like. Also, this one's crazy. Blake was apparently the one who was engaging in unchoreographed kissing scenes. Like she was doing all of these uninitiated kissing scenes. So we see here that one scene, again captured on camera, exhibits Lively, and they put Lively's name in italics, pulling Baldoni in to kiss her. It's clear that she was initiating unchoreographed kissing. In one take, she pulled Justin, kissed him once, and another twice, and the number of kisses, entirely initiated by Lively, changed at her whim. So Justin, he played the lead's love interest in the television series Jane the Virgin, is accustomed to rehearsing or filming multiple times these kinds of scenes, while Lively now takes issue with any innocuous improvisation. Baldoni, as Ryle, may have allegedly initiated while in character. Baldoni treated their relationship on camera as professional, each playing their part, each doing their job. If no one was supposed to improvise, Baldoni would have no way of knowing based on Lively's own actions. She demonstrated that this was a normal and acceptable part of filming romantic scenes. Again, Justin is this sexual predator, but you keep pulling him in for uninitiated kissing scenes? Yeah, that really adds up. So look, all of this to say, we could go deeper and deeper into this lawsuit, but these are the highlights, and it all just proves that Blake is not the Me Too victim that she makes herself out to be. This is like Amber Heard 2.0. Everyone is finally realizing, and it's coming out to light, that she lied about a lot of these things. Like a lot of this is proven in these unedited screenshots and text messages and emails. And look, these empty claims of sexual harassment made by entitled, spoiled brats like Blake Lively, they make it extremely difficult for women who are real victims of sexual harassment or assault to come forward and be heard and taken seriously. And it's ironic that she had an entire movie about DV when she is the one peddling these false narratives and making false accusations that undermine real DV victims telling their story and being heard and understood and taken seriously. It's incredibly selfish. It's so selfish, self-obsessed, self-absorbed, and short-sighted for women like Blake Lively to make a big stink about some guy they didn't like working with. They got mad at him because, I don't know, she thinks that he ruined his reputation. It's so selfish of them to claim that he sexually harassed them. Women should get in trouble for doing this. Like, I actually think there should be real consequences for women who make false accusations against men, who abuse them or assault them or harass them in some way. And whatever the punishment that they want to be inflicted on the men in the legal system, if that accusation turns out to be false and proven to be false, that same punishment should be applied to them. We have to stop with these false accusations. I mean, yes, because it's unfair to the men who are being falsely accused. But for me, in my mind, the number one reason this has to stop is because it undermines real victims, real women, real survivors who have been abused, have been harassed, have been assaulted. These women and their stories, they're not going to be heard and taken seriously if you keep having all of these women come forward and make false accusations. So this is a lot more than just, oh, a celebrity is a mean girl and we don't like her anymore. This really speaks to a broader cultural thing happening here. And that is celebrities and other women like Blake Lively and Amber Heard, they make these false accusations of men. We have to stop propping them up. We have to stop giving them airtime because there are a lot of women out there who have actually been assaulted, actually been abused. And they're the ones that we have to listen to. And when you keep seeing this thing like the boy who cried wolf, you keep seeing all these women come forward and make false accusations, it is not good for real victims. So that's my whole thing here. And that's why it's so infuriating to see Blake make all these false claims. And I think it's a great thing to see her downfall. I think that you should experience a downfall if you're going to make false accusations. Now, is Justin Baldoni this great guy, some hero? I don't know. No, but I can say this. It seems very much like a lot of the claims that she made against him are just simply not true. And I don't like to see anybody falsely accused of anything. So that's my take. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. We might have some Blake Lively stands here. Maybe you're Team Blake. If you are, state your case. I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Share the video if you liked it. And we'll see you guys on the next one.